Hey everyone. You know that feeling when life just seems extra complicated? Yeah, we've all been there. But what if I told you that sometimes we're the ones making things harder on ourselves? Yep, it's true. We've got these sneaky little mental habits that are secretly dragging us down. And the worst part, we often don't even realize it. But don't worry, because today we're diving into the 10 habits that are weakening you and how you can break free from them. Ready to take control of your life? Let's jump in. 1. Clinging to negative emotions. All right, let's kick this off with something we're all guilty of, holding on to negative emotions. We've all done it, whether it's replaying that embarrassing moment in our heads or letting anger fester for days. But here's the thing. The more you feed these emotions, the stronger they grow. Picture them as little plants, like those creeping vines that slowly take over everything in their path. The more you nurture them, the more they suffocate your mind, leaving you trapped in a web of negativity. Let's take envy, for example. We've all felt it at some point, seeing someone else's success and feeling that pang of jealousy, but holding on to that feeling. It's like drinking poison and expecting the other person to suffer. Envy doesn't harm them, it harms you. It eats away at your peace of mind, making it impossible to focus on your own growth and happiness. Instead of letting envy take root, acknowledge it, and then use it as fuel to inspire your own journey. Remember, their success doesn't diminish yours. And it's not just envy. Emotions like anger, resentment, and frustration can be just as toxic. When we hold on to these feelings, we give them power over us. They start to control our thoughts, our actions, and even our relationships. So what can you do? First, recognize the emotion. Give it a name. Are you angry? Frustrated? Jealous? Naming the emotion helps you take control of it. Next, ask yourself why you're feeling this way. What triggered it? And finally, let it go. Easier said than done, I know. But with practice, you'll find that these emotions lose their grip on you. Imagine your mind as a garden. If you let weeds' negative emotions take over, they'll choke out the flowers' positive emotions. But if you tend to your garden, pulling out the weeds and nurturing the flowers, you'll create a space where positivity can thrive. So, start pulling those weeds today. Don't let negative emotions ruin the beauty of your mind. 2. Living in the all or nothing mindset. You know the saying, go big or go home. Yeah, it's time to ditch that. This all or nothing mindset might seem motivating, but in reality, it's setting you up for disappointment. Life isn't black and white, and perfection is a myth. If you keep thinking that anything less than perfect isn't good enough, you're going to burn out fast. Let's break this down a bit more. Perfectionism can be a double-edged sword. On one hand, it drives you to strive for excellence, to push beyond your limits. But on the other hand, it can paralyze you. When you're obsessed with being perfect, you're afraid to make mistakes. And guess what? Mistakes are how we learn and grow. If you're constantly aiming for perfection, you're missing out on the lessons that come from failure. Think about it this way. Imagine you're learning to play a new instrument. If you expect to be a virtuoso right off the bat, you're setting yourself up for frustration. But if you allow yourself to make mistakes, to hit wrong notes, and to learn from those errors, you'll improve over time. The same goes for life. Allow yourself to be a beginner, to be imperfect. It's all part of the process. Here's another thing to consider. Life is full of gray areas. Not everything is as clear-cut as we'd like it to be, and that's okay. Embracing the good enough mindset can actually lead to greater happiness and success. Instead of stressing over every little detail, focus on what really matters. Perfection isn't necessary to achieve your goals, progress is. So take a deep breath, let go of that need for perfection, and just do your best. That's more than enough. 3. Procrastination on big decisions. We all procrastinate, but when it comes to the big stuff like career changes, moving to a new city, or making a major life decision, delaying can be dangerous. The longer you put off making a decision, the more anxiety you'll feel. And that anxiety, it's like a snowball, growing bigger and bigger until it feels completely overwhelming. Procrastination is often driven by fear of failure, fear of making the wrong choice, fear of the unknown. But here's the thing, not making a decision is still a decision. And more often than not, it's a decision that leaves you stuck in place. Imagine you're standing at a crossroads, and instead of choosing a path, you just stand there, paralyzed by indecision. Time passes, opportunities slip away, and you're left wondering what could have been. So, how do you break free from the grip of procrastination? Start by breaking down the decision into smaller, more manageable steps. For example, if you're considering a career change, start by researching your options. Talk to people in the field, update your resume, and explore job openings. Each small step will bring you closer to making a final decision. And remember, no decision is ever set in stone. You can always course correct if needed. It's also important to recognize when you're procrastinating out of fear. Ask yourself, what's the worst that could happen? Often, our fears are exaggerated, and once we confront them, they lose their power. So, take that first step today. Don't let fear and procrastination keep you from living your best life. 4. Constant complaining. Okay, real talk, complaining is like a drug. It feels good in the moment, but in the long run, It's only making things worse. When you complain constantly, your brain starts to focus only on the negative, which can actually change how your brain functions. That's right, science says so. Your brain becomes wired to notice the bad stuff more than the good, which can lead to a downward spiral of negativity. Let's dive deeper into this. Complaining might feel like a release, but it's actually reinforcing the very things you're unhappy about. It's like pouring gasoline on a fire, you're only making it burn brighter. And the more you complain, the more you train your brain to focus on what's wrong, rather than what's right. But here's the good news. You can rewire your brain for positivity. It starts with gratitude. Instead of complaining about what's wrong, try focusing on what's right. Every day, take a few minutes to write down 3 things you're grateful for. They don't have to be big things. Maybe it's a good cup of coffee, a sunny day, or a kind word from a friend. Over time, this simple practice can shift your focus from what's lacking to what's abundant in your life. Another strategy is to practice solution-oriented thinking. The next time you catch yourself complaining, ask yourself, what can I do to fix this? Shifting from a problem-focused mindset to a solution-focused one empowers you to take control of your life. Instead of being a victim of your circumstances, you become the architect of your own happiness. And let's not forget about the impact of complaining on your relationships. Constant negativity can drain the people around you, leading to strained friendships and even isolation. People are naturally drawn to positivity, so if you want to attract more good vibes into your life, start by being a source of positivity yourself. Remember, positivity is contagious. 5. Setting unrealistic expectations. Ever set the bar so high that it's practically impossible to reach? We've all done it. But here's the truth. When you set unrealistic expectations, you're setting yourself up for failure. And when you inevitably fall short, your self-esteem takes a hit. It's a vicious cycle. Let's unpack this. Unrealistic expectations often stem from comparing ourselves to others or from internalizing societal pressures. We see someone's highlight reel on social media and think, why can't I be like that? But here's the thing, what you see online is just a snippet of reality. It's not the whole picture. Behind every perfect Instagram post is a person with struggles and insecurities, just like you. When you set expectations based on these unrealistic portrayals, you're bound to feel inadequate. You might start to think, I should be more successful, or I should be happier, or I should have my life together by now. But these shoulds are just unnecessary pressures that weigh you down. Instead of setting yourself up for disappointment, start setting realistic, achievable goals. Break them down into smaller steps and celebrate each milestone along the way. Remember, it's not about how fast you get there, it's about the journey. Life isn't a race, and there's no need to rush. By setting realistic expectations, you'll find more joy in the process and less stress about the outcome. And here's a little secret. The most successful people aren't those who never fail, they're the ones who fail. Learn from it and keep going. So give yourself permission to fail, to make mistakes, and to grow at your own pace. Your worth isn't determined by how quickly you achieve your goals, but by how you handle the ups and downs along the way. 6. Overthinking and ruminating. The classic what-if trap. Overthinking can be paralyzing. You replay events in your mind, wondering if you could have done something differently, and before you know it, you're spiraling. The thing is, overthinking doesn't change the past, it only stresses you out in the present. Let's dig into this a bit more. Overthinking often comes from a desire to control the uncontrollable. We think that by analyzing every possible outcome, we can somehow prevent bad things from happening. But here's the hard truth. No amount of overthinking will change what's already happened or guarantee what will happen. It only keeps you stuck in a loop of anxiety and indecision. Imagine your mind as a hamster on a wheel, running endlessly but going nowhere. That's what overthinking feels like. You're exhausting yourself mentally, but you're not making any progress. And the worst part, the more you overthink, the more you start to doubt yourself, which only fuels the cycle of anxiety. So how do you break free? Start by recognizing when you're overthinking. Awareness is the first step. When you catch yourself going down the rabbit hole of what-ifs, pause and ask yourself, is this thought helpful? If the answer is no, it's time to let it go. Focus on what you can control, your actions in the present moment. Another effective strategy is to set a time limit for your thoughts. Give yourself, say, 10 minutes to think about a problem and then move on. If you catch yourself ruminating after that, remind yourself that you've already given it enough attention. It's time to focus on something else. Finally, practice mindfulness. When your mind starts to race, bring your attention back to the present moment. Focus on your breath, your surroundings, or a simple task at hand. By grounding yourself in the present, you can break the cycle of overthinking and find peace in the here and now. 7. Playing the victim card. Listen, bad things happen to all of us. But if you constantly see yourself as the victim, you're giving away your power. Sure, some things are out of your control, but how you react to them isn't. By shifting your mindset from why is this happening to me to what can I learn from this, you take back control of your life. Remember, you're stronger than you think. Let's explore this further. Playing the victim might feel comforting because it absolves you of responsibility. It's easier to blame external factors than to look inward and take ownership of your situation. But here's the problem. When you see yourself as a victim, you're essentially saying that you're powerless to change your circumstances. And that's simply not true. Think about it, every challenge you face is an opportunity to grow, to learn, and to become stronger. It's not about denying the pain or pretending everything is fine. It's about choosing how you respond to adversity. Will you let it define you, or will you rise above it? One way to shift out of the victim mindset is to practice gratitude. I know it sounds cliche, but it really works. When you focus on what you're grateful for, you start to see your challenges in a different light. Instead of feeling defeated, you'll start to feel empowered. You'll realize that even in the darkest times, there's something to be thankful for. Another powerful tool is reframing. Instead of seeing a situation as something that's happening to you, see it as something that's happening for you. What lesson can you learn? How can this experience make you stronger? By shifting your perspective, you'll find that you're not a victim, you're a survivor. And more than that, you're a thriver. 8. Comparing yourself to others. Ever scroll through Instagram and feel like everyone else has their life together? Yeah, we've all been there. But comparison is the thief of joy. Social media is a highlight reel, not real life. Instead of comparing yourself to others, focus on your own journey. Celebrate your wins, no matter how small. You're doing just fine. Let's dig a little deeper into this one. Social media has created this illusion that everyone else is living a perfect life. But remember, you're only seeing the best moments, the carefully curated, filtered snapshots. You're not seeing the struggles, the failures, or the behind-the-scenes reality. So when you compare your full, messy life to someone else's highlight reel, you're setting yourself up for feelings of inadequacy and self-doubt. But here's the thing, you're on your own unique journey, and it's not supposed to look like anyone else's. Your timeline, your path, and your experiences are all your own. Comparing yourself to others is like comparing apples to oranges. It just doesn't make sense. Instead of falling into the comparison trap, focus on your own growth. Take stock of how far you've come, not just in terms of achievements, but also in terms of personal development. Maybe you've become more resilient, more compassionate, or more self-aware. These are the things that truly matter. And let's not forget the power of community. Rather than seeing others as competition, see them as inspiration. Celebrate their successes and let them motivate you to keep pushing forward. When you lift others up, you'll find that you're lifted up as well. 9. Fear of change. Change is scary, no doubt about it. But staying in your comfort zone? That's where dreams go to die. If you want to grow, you need to embrace change, even if it feels uncomfortable at first. Take it one step at a time. And soon enough, you'll find that what once scared you is now second nature. Let's break this down a bit. Fear of change is natural. It's a survival instinct. Our brains are wired to prefer the familiar because it feels safe. But here's the catch. Growth doesn't happen in the comfort zone. If you want to achieve your goals, you need to step outside of that safe bubble and take some risks. Think about it like this. Every time you've achieved something significant in your life, it's likely because you took a risk or embraced change. Maybe it was moving to a new city, starting a new job, or ending a toxic relationship. Whatever it was, it required you to step into the unknown. And look at you now, you made it through, and you're stronger for it. So, how do you embrace change? Start small. You don't have to overhaul your entire life overnight. Take baby steps. Maybe it's trying a new hobby, meeting new people, or taking on a new project at work. Each small step will build your confidence and make the bigger changes feel less daunting. And remember, change is a process, not an event. It's okay to feel scared or uncertain. That's part of the journey. What's important is that you keep moving forward, even if it's just one small step at a time. 10. Not practicing self-compassion. Last but definitely not least, self-compassion. We're often our own worst critics, but beating yourself up isn't helping anyone. When you mess up, treat yourself with the same kindness you'd show a friend. Learn from your mistakes, but don't dwell on them. You're only human, after all. Let's unpack this a bit more. Self-compassion is about recognizing that everyone makes mistakes, and that's okay. It's about treating yourself with the same kindness and understanding that you would offer to someone you care about. But here's the thing. For many of us, self-compassion doesn't come naturally. We're so used to being hard on ourselves that it feels strange to offer ourselves kindness. But here's the truth. You deserve the same compassion that you give to others. When you make a mistake, instead of berating yourself, take a step back and ask, what would I say to a friend in this situation? Chances are, you'd offer them words of encouragement and support. So why not do the same for yourself? And here's something to remember. Self-compassion isn't about letting yourself off the hook. It's about acknowledging your humanity, learning from your experiences, and then moving forward with kindness. It's about recognizing that mistakes are part of the journey, not the end of it. Practicing self-compassion can also help you build resilience. When you're kind to yourself, you're more likely to bounce back from setbacks and keep moving forward. You'll be better equipped to handle life's challenges because you'll have a strong foundation of self-love and understanding. So, the next time you're tempted to beat yourself up over a mistake, pause and take a deep breath. Remind yourself that you're doing your best, and that's enough. Be gentle with yourself. You're on a lifelong journey of growth and learning. And self-compassion is the key to making that journey a little bit easier. All right, folks, those are the 10 habits that might be holding you back more than you realize. Breaking free from these habits won't happen overnight, but with a little effort, you can start to see some serious changes in your life. Remember, it's all about progress, not perfection. Now, I want to hear from you. What habit are you working on breaking? Drop a comment below and let's keep this conversation going. Don't forget to hit that like button if you found this video helpful, and make sure to subscribe for more tips on living your best life. Catch you in the next one.